Hey sous chefs, welcome back to the kitchen, and today we're working with some lobsters. So here we have New England, Maine lobsters. We have a male and we have a female. And my children, my boys Hudson and Lennox, have very affectionately named them. This is Icy and this is Betsia. They wanted to release them back to their homes, but we're gonna release them into lunch today. So let's talk about lobsters, where they're from, what makes the difference between a male and a female, and then we're gonna get to cooking them and show you how delicious and how easy these lobsters are to prepare in the comfort of your own home. So first off, let's look at Icy here, the male. When you look at his shell, first he's got 8 legs, 2 big massive claws held on by these big rubber bands here, and then this is his tail, the lobster tail that we all know and love so much. This is a male and this is a female. I'm gonna hold them up. Can you spot the differences? They're not very big. Can you see it? The first indication that this is a male is his long, straight shell. He doesn't have any hips, right? Kind of like me. The second indication though are these hard, bony, these feathery spindles, I guess you would call them. His are really hard and bony. So that's how you know that he is a male. Now here, Betsia, as Lennox named her, you notice her shell, her underbelly looks very different. First, her spindles are very soft and feathery. Her shell kind of goes out and has some width to it, all right? It's also deeper. So she's got some hips and she's got a little bit more space there because this is where she will hold all of her eggs after spawning season. And all of her spindles are really nice and feathery. So that's how you can tell the difference between a male and a female lobster. Really, really beautiful, really sweet meat, and really, really simple to cook at home. First, we've got a pot of water just with a little bit of salt in it at a nice rolling boil. We're gonna poach these lobsters today. And we don't need to add anything else to the water other than a touch of salt, maybe a squeeze of lemon, just to give the water just a touch of flavor, but we really want the flavor of the lobsters to speak first and foremost. So before we go and throw them into the water, I like to go ahead and put them out of their misery first. I don't want to throw them into the boiling water alive. As you can see, these guys are still alive. All right, that's how you know that they are super fresh when you're getting them from the seafood market or the grocery store even. They are typically going to be alive if they're not already cooked, and you want to kill them, at least I do, before I put them in the water. So to do that, I'm gonna kill them instantly, all right? First, I thank them for their lives because it's not something I really like to do, but it is part of the show or part of life. So they have their brain right here. So we're gonna just go ahead. We've got our boiling water here, and these guys are gonna go right in. 6-7 minutes per lobster. These guys are about 1.5 pounds. And that's all it takes, all right? Just right into the boiling water. They're gonna really gently poach, 6 or 7 minutes, and they'll be ready to go. All right, guys, it's just been a couple of minutes. The lobsters are nice and cooked now. It's time to pull them out. Now, in the past, you might have seen some people put them into an ice bath to cool them down really quickly. I don't like to necessarily do that because once you drop something in a bucket of water, cold water, whatever, it's just gonna wash off all of the flavor. And I don't wanna do that. I wanna reserve all of that sweet, delicious meat flavor from those lobsters. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a sheet pan out of my freezer, nice and cold, nice ice cold sheet pan, right out of the freezer, and the lobsters are gonna go right onto this just to kind of pull some of that heat out right away. But these guys are ready to go. And we're gonna show you real quick my way of cleaning these lobsters. Now, for all you Karens out there, everybody might have their own technique on cleaning lobsters. So if you have a different technique that might work better than mine, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Share your knowledge with all of us. We'd love to know how you do it at home. But I'm gonna show you the way that I do it, right or wrong. It's just the way that I roll. So I'm gonna start first and foremost with my crackers. And then this is kind of like a lobster, crab, shellfish fork. It's got a spoon end on the end on one side, as well as then a fork end. And this is gonna help me get some of, or all of that delicious sweet meat out of those shells. Are you ready for your checkup? It's lobster time here at the beach. All right, let's first take off the tail. So we're gonna just gently pull that tail right off. It comes right off, and immediately you can see that white, delicious tail meat there. So we're gonna set that to the side. And now let's pop off our legs. And there's just a little bit of meat in those legs, but I like to get as much as I possibly can. Claw number 1, claw number 2. We actually have some knuckle meat up in here that we'll get in a little bit. So there's our tail, our little legs, and then our big claws right there. Now onto the second. Tail off. Lobsters actually have more meat per pound than any other shellfish, so they make a great lunch, great dinner, really delicious. And as you see, really easy to make right at home. Don't throw these bodies away. If you like stock, you like making your own stock at home, save those. You can freeze them if you're not ready to use it, but make you some good seafood or lobster stock at home. It will be delicious. So we're gonna take our chef's knife here. Keep your board nice and clean. So we're just gonna pop this shell. I'm gonna cut it right in half. It'll make it a little easier to get it all out. Look at that. Look at that beautiful meat. It's just super tender. It just pulls right out of that clean shell. Look at that, all the way down to the little fin. You get that little piece of fin meat. Oh man, it smells so good, guys. Look at that chunk of lobster tail. That's 1/2. Look at that, coming right out of that shell. Beautiful. Get that tail meat. Boom, that's 1. Tail number 2. Now this was the female. When you open up the female, you can see there's a little bit of a different coloration here. You see this orange, that is her egg sac. So when you see the orange part of the lobster, you know that you're eating a female. The claw meat. Now we'll see how I do. Sometimes I can get the meat out in one shot. One giant big piece, not every time. So we'll see how lucky I get today. I like to kind of move it around a little bit. It kind of wiggles that tendon inside of there, moves it around, gets it free, and then we're just gonna break this bad boy right open with our cracker here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Woo! Split it right in half. See what happens? Too strong today, but this little tool here we can scoop right out and kind of roll right around on the inside of that shell. Pops right out. Look at that chunk of meat. Look at that. Can you see that? Let's get this piece out. We can pop this right out. All right, we can pull this out. This is that tendon that I was talking about when you wiggle it around, that long, hard tendon. That's what's gripping that muscle on the inside and moving that shell. So we can save that. Again, use our little fork. There's a really nice little piece of meat right up inside that shell that you can get out. Well, look at that. And this lobster meat is actually gonna go into a lobster mac and cheese. That's gonna be another episode coming up. So stay tuned for that. That's why I'm not really that worried about if this lobster meat gets broken up, because it's gonna end up in a creamy 6-cheese lobster mac. So stay tuned for that one, because that video is surely gonna make you a delicious dinner at home. Break it free, there we go. Look at that. That beautiful lobster claw, man, this is awesome. Look at the size. Look how pretty that is, that beautiful red meat. That's how you know it's nice and cooked, is that it's gonna have that beautiful red color to it. Save our shells. And there's meat in these really big legs, so we're gonna get all of that out. That's the knuckle meat. If you've ever seen claw knuckle meat in the store, lobster claw knuckle meat, this is where it's coming from, the claw and the knuckles. Big chunk here. All right, guys, so it's just that easy. We've got our cleaned lobster shells here. These bad boys are going right into my freezer in a Ziploc bag, ready for the next time I'm making lobster stock. But here is the fruit of our labor, this delicious, sweet, succulent lobster meat. And I cannot wait to dig into this today for lunch. Make sure you guys join us next time, where we're gonna turn this lobster meat into an extra creamy 6-cheese, that's 7, 6-cheese lobster mac and cheese. It's gonna be delicious, and I can't wait for you guys to join me then. See you then.
Beach easy.